Miss Grace Lee here as my plaintiff and Miss Farah Garcia as my defendant. Ms. Lee, I see you are suing Miss Garcia for $1,000. Tell me why we are in court today.
I am suing my ex-girlfriend for $1,000 because she lied to me. She told me that she would move in with me, and she didn't, and she left me for somebody else.
Now, where does this $1,000 come into play?
So, I put a holding fee down as a deposit, and it was $2,000, and I was only sent back $1,000 after I told the landlord that I would not be moving in.
Okay, how long were you together?
We were together for almost 2 years.
Okay, so together 2 years. Now, why is she telling the court that she believed that y'all were going to move into an apartment together? She put $2,000 down to hold this apartment, and that you left her high and dry.
Well, I am as surprised as anyone here. We talked about moving in together eventually, maybe one day. We had ideas about it.
Okay.
And I went away to see my family for a week over to San Diego.
Okay.
And when I was gone, she toured an apartment without my knowledge, and she put down a holding fee without my consent. And now she is charging me for that.
But we had been talking about it for 6 months, about moving in together. We were shopping together for stuff to share at the apartment.
So, Ms. Garcia, you're telling me that y'all were together for, you said, 2 years?
Yes.
In a romantic partnership?
Yes.
But you had your own places?
Yes.
The whole time? Okay, so where would she get an idea, ma'am, that y'all were ready to put down a deposit and sign a lease? Because that's what she's telling the court.
I think she just got way too excited, way too ahead of herself. Honestly, we never really actually discussed the fact that we were gonna compromise to moving in together, and it really came as a surprise to me.
Did you want to move in with her?
Yeah, maybe eventually. I mean, we had been together for around 2 years.
Okay, so why are y'all no longer together today? Because it sounds like if it was getting ready to move in together time, it was going well. Or
Well,
was the relationship going well, Ms. Garcia?
It was,
Okay.
yeah. But I actually reconnected with an old friend when I was back home, and nothing really happened. Honestly, I did not cheat on Grace. I would never.
So you went on a date, Ms. Garcia.
I wouldn't say it was a date,
Was
actually.
it you and a group of people?
No.
So it was you and one other woman?
one other man.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So you identify as bisexual?
Yes.
Okay,
Your
cool.
Honor.
So you go on this date, but you say nothing physical happened. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. And are you still in contact with this friend today?
In occasion, we do text.
And did Miss Lee know about this friendly drink date situation?
Not at all.
You broke up with her?
Yes.
And why did you break up with her?
Well, I figured I did not want to mislead the situation to myself or to her and continue with a relationship that I wasn't fully into anymore.
And it took, and I'm not judging, but I'm just trying to be honest here and clear with the court. It took you seeing this gentleman that you have known, have history with, to realize that you really weren't as into Miss Lee as you thought you were. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Were you surprised?
I was completely blindsided. I had no idea. I was in love with this wonderful woman, and she just came back and changed her mind like that.
Miss Lee, is the court to understand then that you went about sourcing apartments for you and your girlfriend alone, and then you thought, without her consent or even looking at this apartment, that it was smart to put down a $2,000 deposit?
Yes, because it was right where we had been looking for other apartments, and the price was very affordable, and I kind of wanted to keep it as a surprise, as I know that she...
Surprise, I got us an apartment?
Well, our relationship is full of surprises. We always do nice things for each other.
Well, I think that's a hell of a surprise, Miss Lee,
Yes.
because it's so important, and you're making all these decisions unilaterally. Do you see that there's an issue there?
But before she left to go visit her family, she seemed very eager to move in. I have the messages.
Okay, so yeah, let's get to the evidence. Go, Miss Lee, give my bailiff all of your evidence.
Yes.
The entire folder, please.
The entire folder, please. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I can understand. Because I want to hear what you're saying, Miss Lee, but it needs to make sense. Okay.
In this courtroom drama, we witness the painful unraveling of a relationship that was once filled with promises, dreams, and plans for the future. Miss Lee comes forward with the belief that she was wronged by her ex-partner, Miss Garcia, who she claims lured her into an agreement about moving in together and left her holding the financial burden. But what makes this case unique is not just the $1,000 dispute, but the emotions that unfold as betrayal, love, and misunderstanding clash. Before the judge, the audience will quickly see how fragile human trust becomes when one partner assumes commitment while the other hesitates between fantasy and reality. This story is not only about money, it is about the unspoken expectations that couples carry into their relationships. The courtroom becomes the only place where those dreams are tested against facts and evidence. And from the very start, we already know that no matter how the judge rules, both women will walk away wounded.
Back in September, this is actually you, Miss Garcia, saying to your then girlfriend, I want a rug like this. She says, I love that. We're going to have the cutest place. You do say, can't wait. This is from Miss Garcia. Hey, babe, did I leave my sweater at your place? You say, Miss Lee, yes, it's in my room. I'll bring it back tonight. You say, Miss Garcia, thanks. It would be so much easier if all of our stuff was in one place. Miss Lee says, soon enough it will be. This is you this time starting, Miss Lee. Can't wait to spend the whole night looking at apartments that we know we can't afford, LOL. Then you, Miss Garcia, girl can dream. Maybe we should look at some we can actually consider. You say, can't wait to live with you one day, and you do send her a smiley face.
Coming up on Equal Justice.
I thought that things were moving way too quick in the sense that she took a decision without consulting me. She went and gave a deposit fee without my consent, without my knowledge.
And later,
He wasn't given the tickets. They were never actually personally given to him.
But you knew that it was a gift that she was giving to me.
Yes, but she's no longer here.
Okay.
So
but I
the
still
tickets were
feel that.
the tickets were.
The tension grows as Miss Garcia makes it clear that she never fully agreed to the idea of moving in together, despite months of conversations about furniture shopping and future plans. She paints the picture of an excited partner who rushed ahead without real confirmation and now wants to shift the blame. This is where relationships often collapse, when one person takes shared dreams as binding promises and the other treats them as casual conversations. The judge begins to probe deeper, trying to uncover whether Miss Garcia intentionally misled her partner or whether Miss Lee simply read too much into vague statements. The power of suggestion and affectionate words becomes the center of this battle, and suddenly what seemed like romance is turned into legal argument. Each side clings tightly to their truth, but the cracks in their partnership are now fully exposed.
Understand that undermines your whole argument you're making in court today, Miss Garcia, because by you saying, let's be more practical, that makes this woman believe that it's more likely to really happen.
Yes, we did discuss the idea of moving in together eventually, but I never agreed, neither verbally or in text or in any
I understand that, but Miss Garcia, you do have to understand that words matter, right? And once you're starting to create a fantasy of this life of this beautiful apartment, and let's do this rug, and let's do this paint color, and wouldn't this be so cute and great and convenient? I'm starting to get a sense that you just looked at Miss Lee like a person of convenience, and that this whole relationship started to be one of convenience.
I was with her for 2 years, and I wouldn't have if I didn't actually love her and want to be with her. But I thought that things were moving way too quick in the sense that she took a decision without consulting me. She went and gave a deposit fee without my consent, without my knowledge.
Okay,
and
well,
that to me is betrayal.
Okay, you said a betrayal.
I mean, of our trust, yeah.
Okay.
Betrayal of your trust.
All right, so what do you say about that, Miss Garcia? What do you say about the fact that this woman is telling the court, and she's asking me to order you to pay her $1,000 because this whole thing was your fault? She's saying that but for you...
Now the evidence enters the courtroom as Miss Lee brings forward messages and proof to support her claim, believing that her partner's own words will confirm a shared vision of living together. The text conversations seem warm, affectionate, and filled with hints of commitment, but the interpretation of those words will decide everything. Were these words playful and casual, or were they promises that encourage someone to make a life-changing financial decision? Judge carefully reads through each exchange, trying to balance emotion against law. What we see here is a reminder that in relationships, words are powerful. They create hope. They shape decisions. They carry weight far beyond a simple smiley face or casual statement. The audience watches Miss Lee hold on to these messages as proof of love, while Miss Garcia argues that they were never agreements, just fleeting fantasies.
Winky face, smiley face, let's do it, can't wait. But for you leading her down that ideology, she would have never done such a thing.
Yes, maybe eventually I would have loved to move in with her and go and tour the apartment together, and I would have been like completely okay with giving that deposit fee together. But it is the fact that she didn't consult me and that she did it on her own that's what's bothering me, and that's why I don't think it's fair for her to be here demanding me to pay money I didn't agree to in the first place.
Okay, Miss Garcia. Miss Lee, what is your response to that? What do you say to the fact that despite a fairly convincing case that you have made about the road that you were being led down to believe in this fantasy of cohabitation with you and this woman that you love, she didn't agree to anything? She didn't look at this apartment. She didn't sign anything. She didn't even verbally via text say, yes, let's do this. Because this was all kind of hypothetical in terms of what you have presented to the court today. The fact is that you did on your own accord go look at this unit. You made the decision that it was the perfect location. She might not have even thought that. Who knows? You said it was the perfect location. You said it was the right price point. You. See the pattern here?
I see the pattern, but I will say that Farah also looked at listings with me that were very similar in terms of location, and I don't know, it seemed like it was perfect when I was there. I could
It
feel
seemed like she was making all the decisions for me.
Okay. I got it from here, Miss Garcia. Go ahead, Miss Lee.
I just feel like it was perfect. It had a little park outside, there was a common room area, it had everything we were looking for. It was good size, and I just feel like I loved it so much, and I could totally see us having a future there.
Right.
And she.
Okay. I hear you, Miss Lee. I do believe the court is ready to rule here. Here's what's unfortunate. I do believe that at one point in time, you two ladies had a loving and mutually agreed upon relationship. And I think, as happens often in matters of the heart, one of you kind of fell out of love with the other at a different pace. That's what happened. I don't think that Miss Garcia did this deliberately to hurt you. I really don't. I do think that she probably stayed in it a little too long, matter of fact. I think that Miss Lee, I'm delivering my ruling. And I'm telling you something that I know you don't want to hear, which is why you keep trying to interrupt me. But you need to hear this. You need to hear that a woman that you loved, and that I do believe loved you back at one point, simply grew apart.
The case now turns into a battle of responsibility. Miss Garcia insists that she should not pay for a decision she never approved, while Miss Lee insists that she was led on and misled into believing in a shared future. What makes this moment powerful is the raw honesty of heartbreak layered beneath the legal arguments. The judge faces the challenge of separating emotional pain from financial liability, and this is often the hardest part of small claims court, because broken hearts cannot be repaired with money. As both women defend themselves, the truth emerges that love was present but commitment was never sealed. Miss Lee wants justice, not just for the deposit, but for the betrayal she feels Miss Garcia wants. Freedom from blame, and refuses to accept debt for something she never agreed to. This is the turning point where the judge must draw the line between feelings and facts.
But you'll never know true love. You'll never have the benefit of your happily ever after unless you are willing to take the risk of the pain you're feeling right now. So the court empathizes with you deeply. I truly do. I have been where you are. I think most of us in this room have, at one particular point nor time. The problem with your legal case, though, is that you're asking this court to make her pay essentially really for your pain and suffering. You want her to pay for the fact that you got carried away with your idealized version of what the relationship was going to play out like, when all she kind of gave you was a maybe someday sort of kind of we'll see. That's all she gave you, Miss Lee. She didn't look at the actual unit. Only you did. She didn't approve of the actual unit. Only you did. And she didn't put $1 towards the unit. Only you did. So unfortunately, Miss Lee, the court is going to have to dismiss your case and chalk up your $1,000 expense as the cost of a lesson learned. That is my ruling.
All rise.
Judge Ebony has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
Any final thoughts for each other?
The judge made the right decision and the fair one.
You never even loved me.
You've had your final day in court. Please follow me.
At last, the courtroom reaches its conclusion, and the judge delivers a ruling that stings but also teaches. Miss Lee is told that her loss of $1,000 must be seen as the price of a lesson, learned a reminder that assumptions in love can lead to painful consequences. The ruling is not meant to dismiss her feelings, but to remind her and everyone watching that courts cannot enforce unspoken promises or vague dreams. Miss Garcia walks away without owing a cent, but her victory is hollow because the relationship has already crumbled. The lesson here is timeless. Love requires clear communication, and without it, even the strongest bonds will fracture. The audience is left to reflect on how many times they, too, may have trusted words that were never binding. This courtroom drama closes not with justice as revenge, but with justice as a teacher, and the cost of love becomes the cost of clarity.